has the belief or the opinion,
Mhm.
I ask the question every time I see it.
Mhm.
Why are the Chargers being covered in the San Diego Union-Tribune?
Yeah.
Why is Nick Canova putting out Charger grades like they're still playing in San Diego? Why are there NFL articles being put out when we're in San Diego? That's just my point of view. Feel free to give your thoughts on that.
Sure. I would counter that there are less than there have been. That one of the things, and again, it's complicated. I mean, the answer is complicated. I get 2 complaints, okay? Complaint number 1, why do you cover the Chargers so much? Complaint number 2, why don't you cover the Chargers more? Those are the 2 complaints I get. Every Monday, I will get an email from somebody saying, why are we running Nick Canopa's grades and paper? And then I'll get an email from somebody else saying, I watched 3 hours of the Chargers yesterday. I don't understand why there isn't more about them in the paper.
Which one's easier to answer? Because for me, the easier one to answer is because they're not in San Diego anymore. That's why we're not writing. Yeah.
Now, I would argue, though, counterpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I agree with you, by the way, in terms of if I take off my sports editor hat and put on my San Diego native hat, I have not cared how the Chargers did since the day they left. Okay. I don't root against them. I don't wish bad things for them. They cease to matter to me. Again, just as a San Diego native, they cease to matter to me when they moved. Okay. But I think that we can agree that they're both the most beloved and the most hated team in San Diego right now. Don't you think?
Most hated, yes. Beloved, I feel like, I don't know if I'd say that with the Chargers. I feel like you got to put the Padres with that.
No, I'm sorry. NFL team. NFL. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
NFL team.
Okay.
I think that if we're talking NFL, right? I mean, there are more Charger fans here than Packer fans, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so in that regard, there is an obligation to the segment of our readership that follows the Chargers to run some Charger stuff. Here's what I'm not going to do as the sports editor. I am not going to let coverage of San Diego sports suffer to put more time or resources into the Chargers. I'm just not. That, to me, that doesn't make any sense. Chargers don't play here, right? That said, I understand that there's an audience. I mean, our statistics, our metrics show, Nick Canopa's Charger report card does really well. There's no option when you read it online, whether you're love reading it or hate reading it, right?
True.
Whether you're reading it because you want to see how many Fs they got, or whether you're reading it because you're a fan, there's no sort of way to parse that. But that's sort of the situation. Our Padres coverage, our Aztec coverage, our soccer coverage will never suffer because of the little, compared to what we used to do, coverage of the Chargers that we have. It's Nick doing a report card that he's done for decades, and it's Krasovic periodically writing about them. And that's basically it. But yeah, the Chargers are tough. I'll speak to groups every once in a while. And, it's the first question. First question is either, what's with the Chargers? Why don't you do more on the Chargers, or why do you do so much on the Chargers? So I don't think that you can get a room full of San Diegans to agree about the Chargers. And, I'm in charge of putting out a sports section for the whole city. So it's tricky.
Yeah, there you go, San Diegans. If you wanted the answer, there you go, from the sports editor himself.
But it's a complicated answer, right? I mean, it's tough because, again, as the sports section, and then I'll save you my yammering. As a sports section, we do have an obligation to our readers to provide them with stuff that we think is important to them, right? Are the Chargers important to all of our readers? No. But if you asked all of our readers who their favorite NFL team was, I think the Chargers are. And so you can't just not cover the NFL because they moved. The NFL is the most popular sport in America right now. On the other hand, there's no reason to cover a team that left just as much as you used to, because why do that?